welcome to NameTech channel. I'm very much happy to have you on board today, guys. And today we are going to design a very perfect blogger website from scratch to its completion, step by step. And this is the kind of website that we are going to design. You can see, guys, it has very beautiful navigation section here. For example, for this logo, you can see when I have on it, you can see it has smooth transformation effect here. The same way to the navigation links here, you can see very beautiful and responsive. And also to the icon section, you can see it has very beautiful transformation effects here. And then we have this text here, some text here, and then a very beautiful button here. When you have on it, guys, you can see it changes to another display. And then now, guys, you have the trending news today. This is the latest item, blogs that we posted. And then in this we have used the flex box, guys. You can see it has some images here, an image here, and then some titles here, and then a paragraph, and also we have the very beautiful the very beautiful button here. You can see when I have on it, very perfect. And then we have this other section here for the order of this article, and then we have the date that it was published, and then the comments, and also the same way to these other ones. And then it's just very perfect. And then we have this politics section, and then guys, you can see in this politics section here I have a title here and an image here on your left hand side, and then very beautiful this section. And then also the places to know, the tours, the nature section. So guys, you can see here I've said that no places, and then I have some images of, I forgot to change the image. It is that's resemble this one. I should have changed the image here, but don't mind, this just dropped how to get you how to create your own professional website. But now, guys, you can see it's very perfect, very professional here. And then here, guys, you have 50 comments. And then now here at the at the about section, guys, you can see I have very beautiful a header here, actually the title here, get to know us. And then I have then we have this image here, and then some title here, and then the some paragraph. And then we have the read more. And by the way, guys, you can create the archive page, and then I'll link it to this button, so that when someone clicks on it, it's going to direct them to that archive page, and then they are going to read more about you are about. And then guys, you have the contact section. You can see, guys, it's very beautiful. Someone can fill their name, like let me say Nehemiah. My name is Nehemiah. And then Wekesa, my email is admin@nametech.com. So if you want to reach me, you can reach me through this email. And then the comment, you can enter the comment, like let me type in my website. My website is www.nametech.com. and by the way, guys, nametech.com, guys. And by the way, guys, in this website we are teaching all kind of programming courses, beginning with the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, PHP, SQL. We have React, we have C++, we have Kotlin, we have R, we have Bootstrap, we have React, and all kind of programming courses, guys, are available there. You can take a tour there, and then you gain some skills there. It can improve your web development skills, or basically programming skills. Remember, it's just for free. And then otherwise, guys, we are going to design this website. Then guys, you can see it has very beautiful footer here. But now, guys, I want for example, if you want to go to the home section, you can do this. You can use this navigation links here. So like if you want to go to the home, you can click on it, and then guys, it's going to take you to the home section. If you want to the trending section, guys, it's going to take you to the trending section, politics, is going to take you to the politics, today. Nature is going to take you to the nature section, and then about is going to take you to the about section. Contact is going to take you to the contact section, and guys, it's very, very beautiful. And so guys, this is the website that we are going to design, me and you, step by step. And so guys, I request that if it's your first time to learn to this channel, please take a second or two and just click the subscribe button and also the like button. That is to support me and also to support the channel. I'll appreciate very, very much. And so guys, without wasting a lot of time, let's get started. And so guys, the requirements that you need to have in this project so that we may go together, you need to have a text editor. You can use any text editor, like Adobe Dreamweaver. You can use Visual Studio Code. You can use brackets. You can use Notepad++. You can use Sublime Text, or whichever text editor you have is just perfect. And then the other thing that you need to have, you need to have a browser to execute your codes. You can use Google Chrome, you can use Microsoft Edge, you can use Firefox, you can use Opera, but the browsers that I don't recommend you guys, I don't use Internet Explorer, or I don't use Tor browsers. So, and then the other thing that you need to have also, you need to have some images on your device, preferably the landscape images. So first of all, let me open my file explorer so that we may arrange our work. So guys, I'm going to place my project in this second partition named media, and then I'm going to place it at the cheat sheet, and then here are the projects, and then I'm going to create a folder here, and I'm going to give it a name like a blogger demo, and demo website, blogger demo website. And then I'm going to place some images in this same folder so that it may be in the same directory. So let me copy this. These are my images. So you can see I have the banner images and then these other images too. So I'm going to place these images at the same directory so that we may not have issues white coding. So you can move or you can copy to the that folder. So let me just move. I'm going to move it to this blogger demo website, and then let me move it there. And so guys, once it's there, let me close this window, and then I'm going to open the text editor. I said that I'm using the Visual Studio Code. So let me open my Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to click on this tab called File, and then I'm going to open folder here, and then I'm going to choose this blogger demo website, and then I'm going to select it, and then you can just delete this section here. And so guys, you can see this the main folder, and then I have subfolder here for images, and then I'm going to create 2 or 3 files here. So let me first of all create for HTML and CSS. We shall add JavaScript later if necessary. So what I do for HTML, I can use index. You can use any name like, but for me, let me use index.html. Remember, the key thing is this extension .html. And then also let me create for CSS. So for CSS, I'm going to give it styles, styles.css. Then click enter. So I have these 2 files here. First of all, let me minimize this window here, and then for HTML, if you're using the Visual Studio Code, you can just write an exclamation mark and then you click enter. So it will give you the snippet of HTML structures. So now what I do here, let me give it any name. You can give it any name, but for me, let me say blogger. Let me say blogger, or let me give it a name which is somehow realistic. So let me say name blogs. So this is the name of the website, and then what I do. So now first of all, let me save, and then what I do guys, let me link these external style sheets to my HTML. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type here link. Remember, the goodness with the Visual Studio Code is just to complete for you. So for example, when I write link and then I click enter, it will give me the this entire code here. So So I'm going to write here CSS, this external style sheet here. So what I'm going to say, so let me say styles.css, and then I'm going to do what, I'm going to save. And so now guys, in this external style sheet now, what I'm going to do, I want to write here some some properties, or some codes that will affect the entire website. So these codes are you begin with a star, so create a star here, and then open and close the curly bracket or curly braces, whichever name you give it, not just good. So in this between these two curly brackets, I'm going to say give it margin of what, I'm going to give it margin of 0, and then I'm going to give it a padding of what, 0 again, and then another property here, I'm going to give it a box sizing. I'm going to give it border box, and also I'm going to give it text decoration. So text decoration, I'm going to give it what, I'm going to give it none. Here it is. And then what else should I add here? And then so first of all, let me do it. Let me save this styles. And then guys, the other thing that you need to have here is to have some fonts that you'll be using on your project. So guys, let's open the browser and download some fonts here. And so guys, once your browser is open, you're going to type here fonts. You're going to type fonts.google, and then when you click enter, it will direct you to the this fonts page, Google fonts page. And then first of all, let me remove these other fonts that I used previously. Let me just remove all of them so that we may begin with you together. So it's blank now. So guys, you are going to decide the font that you are going to use. So for me, I'm going to use which fonts. First of all, I'm going to use this Roboto, or what I do, let me do this. Let me go to the fonts here, this fonts page, and then I'm going to use this font. I'm going to use this font, Roboto. So what you do, just click on what you are going to use. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use this type, this one, and this one. Again, I go to the same font page, and then you're going to decide the other font that you're going to use. So for me, I'm going to use this other one for Oswald. So just select it, and then you can select whichever you want. So I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to select almost all of them. Let me select all of them. Remember, they are the fonts of the same family, sans serif. And then let me select also this one for Poppins. So this Poppins, and then I'm going to select this one. I'm going to select this extra light. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to select also this one and this one. So guys, once you have these fonts, and so guys, once you have selected, just click on this icon here, and then you're going to see the font that you've selected. You can see guys, I've used 3 types of fonts. I've used Oswald, I've used Poppins, I've used Roboto, but they are the same fonts of the same family here. So what I'm going to do guys, I click on this import, and then in this import, just select this one, highlight on this one, and then I do copy. You can copy, and then go to your text editor guys, and then at the top here, just paste it there, and then guys, these other fonts, this font family, let me just copy it to my notepad so that I may not have to type it again. So let me just copy, and I'm going to save it at my notepad here. So let me just paste it there, and then I do what, I can close this page now. And so guys, now to your HTML document here. In this body tag, first of all, I'm going to create a comment. Remember, comments they are very useful. They help developers to identify the areas where they had written some codes. So like the shortcut to write comments, in whichever language you're using, is just control plus the / here, and then I'm going to write here navigation section, navigation section. You can give it any name. And so guys, the goodness with the Visual Studio Code, if you want to write a class, you're going to use this dot, and then I'm going to write what, for example, I want to write max width as a class, so like max width, but I want to use two classes here. I want to use or let me just use this single class. So when you have written like that, just click enter, and then it will give you the entire code. But now inside this class, I'm going to write also some subclasses here. So the next thing is gonna be what? Let me use the one for logo. But remember, you don't have a logo, you just use a text. So the logo is the class, and then in this logo, I'm going to use an anchor tag. I'm going to use an anchor tag here, and then here, remember, I don't have a valid URL, so I'm going to use a hash so that it may not give me the 404 error when I click on the link. So now and then in this part of the text here, I'm going to write what? I'm going to write it was name block. Let me say name blocks, yeah, name blocks, or what I do, yeah, name blocks. So what I do, let me now first of all save, and then let me open in the browser so that we find if it's available. So guys, if you don't have a live server, you can just download here, just write here live server, and then it will give you the button to install. Remember, for me, I've already installed, that's why it's not bringing the install button here. So once you have installed, then you're going to right click, and then you're going to open with what? You're going to open with the live server. And so guys, on your top left, guys, you can see you have what? Your name block. So this is the logo that we are going to use. Remember, I don't have a logo for it, so I'm going to use this text as a logo. And then guys, I'm going to create also other items here for navigation links, navigation items. So what I'm going to do, just at the end of this div, I'm going to do what? Not really at the end of this div here, I'm going to create what? I'm going to create those classes. So I'm going to write US, there are another list. I'm going to use another list, but now the class is gonna be what? Menu. Let me give it menu, and then I do what? Click enter, then it will just complete for you. And then I'm going to use the li, the list itself, and then inside between these two tags, I'm going to use also an anchor tag here, and then here I'm going to write hash so that it may not bring errors when you click on it. And then here in this the first item is gonna be at home. Let me give it a home, and then I'm going to duplicate this line. So to duplicate it, or to make it several of them, you're going to click on the shift alt and then down key, the arrow key that points downward. Then when you click it, you just duplicate. I want to make like 5 of them, and then in this second one, I'm going to give it like trending, and then let me give it here news trending, and then here I'm going to give it politics, for example, politics. Here I'm going to give it nature, for example, nature. And then here I'm going to write what? About, for example, about. And then the last one is going to be what? Contact. So let me just duplicate this part, and then I give it contact. And then guys, let's save, and then I see on the browser. And so guys, you can see that these items are appearing here. So it's just perfect. We are going to style it further, so don't worry for now. We are going to style it further. And so guys, the other thing that I want to include in this navigation section, I want to include the the social icons. So to get those icons, we are going to the Foundation page. So let me open the this text, this browser, and then I'm going to open here another tab, and then I'm going to write what I'm going to write Foundation, foundation.com, foundation.com. Then you're going to do what, you're going to click enter. And so guys, once it's open, you're going to create an account with them if you don't have an account. Like for me, I already have an account with them. So you can see here I have an account with them. So when I click on it, it's going to be to open it. So assuming that you don't have an account, or when you create an account, they'll send you the site kit on your email, and then you're going to use that site kit. For me, I already have the site kit here. So let me go to the kits. And then I'm going to click on this one. And then now guys, here is my site kit. And so guys, this is my site kit. So I'm going to click on the copy kit code. So I just click on it, and then I'll go to your text editor guys, and then here at the this head section, you ensure that you are between this head section here. So here I'm going to write what I'm going to paste this code here, and then you save. And so now guys, to get the icons now, you're going to search for any icons. Like let me go for icon section, and then now guys, you're going to search for any icon that you want. Like if you want Facebook, you're going to write Facebook, and then you do what, you click enter. So you'll find that several icons for Facebook. Like if you want this one, they'll give you this icon here for Facebook. So you're going to copy, but remember, for me, I already know these code. These are these codes for this icon. So I'm not going to return back to this page again. So once you have copied guys, now let me go to my text editor guys. So I said that I'm going to place those icons here. So like let me create a class first of all, social icons, the social icons. And then here I said that I already know the icon names, the links for those icons. So like if I want Facebook, I'm going to use this class. We use this I to specify those icons, and then the class itself is fab, and then dot it has two classes. So dot fa, and then Facebook, if it's Facebook, yeah. And then you do what, you click enter. So it will just complete for you. So I want to duplicate and twist, make it 4 items. So shift alt and then down key, and then let me make it 4 of them. And then here I'm going to change it to what? Let me give it Twitter. And then here I'm going to give it for example Instagram, Instagram. And then here I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it let me give it LinkedIn. And then I do what? Let's save. And then let's go to our browser guys. And so guys, you can see that you have those icons here. So now guys, I want us to style this this part now. So let's go to our text editor guys, and then remember the main class is gonna be what? The main class is now here. The main class, not really class, the main selector that we are going to use is now. So let me choose this selector now at the main class, and then open and close the curly bracket, and I'm going to do it. Let me give it a position. First of all, the position should be fixed. And then the other property that I'm going to use to give it a width of, I'm going to give it a width of 100%, so that it may stretch from left to right. And then the other property that I'm going to give it background. Background, I'm going to give it light gray. Let me give it light gray. Light gray. Light gray. And then the other property that I'm going to give it here is the font family. So now with the font family, guys, let me just come here, and then I'm going to copy any, I can decide to choose these Poppins. So let me just copy Poppins, and then do what? Let me minimize this section, and then I'm going to paste it here. And then the other property that I want to use here is the padding. So padding, I'm going to give it 15. Remember, padding is the space inside an element, outside an element, within the borders of an element. So if I say 15 pixels, it will be top and bottom, and then 0, that is left and right. So first of all, let me save, and then I'll see in the browser. And so guys, you can see you have the light gray background here. So I want to save it further, guys, so that it may be professional. So guys, here let's add another selector here. So the selector is gonna be what? Remember, you begin with the main class with the main tag, which is the main selector is now, and then now targeting the menu. So the menu is a class I use menu dot menu, and then I'm now targeting the anchor tag. Remember, anchor tag is inside the li, and then I open and close the curly bracket, and then the color I'm going to give it let me give it red. I don't know if it will be perfect, but let me just give it red. And then the font size, I'm going to give it 18 pixels, sorry. And then the other property that I'm going to give it here is the font weight. So font weight, I'm going to give it a bold font weight. Let me give it 700. And then remember, you don't add units. 700 is just making it bold, so you don't give it unit. There's no unit for boldness. So the other property that I'm going to give it is margin. Margin left, some space between the edges on the left hand side and the elements. So I'm going to give it 25 pixel. And first of all, let me save and see some changes on the browser. And then guys, you can see it is I think it is good for me. So now guys, I want us to, let me first of all stay this section here for this part for name blocks. So these are the logo, actually the logo. So I'm going to remember the main selector is now, but now targeting the logo. Remember, the class is logo. Let me just do this so that everybody may be on one page. Remember, here the class is logo. Let me just copy and do it and paste it here, so that logo, but now targeting the anchor tag. So I'm going to give it what? Let me give it a font size. Font size. I'm going to give it you can give it even that 5 pixel. And then I'll do what? Font weight, I'm going to give it what? Let me give it 600. And then the other, the color. So color, let me give it green, purple. Let me give it purple. Let me give it purple. And then let me do what? Let me save first of all, and then see some changes on the browser. Guys, you can see it's somehow perfect. Let me add some more styling. Or before that, let's guys arrange this item to be in a flex manner. So let me do what? Let me add another property here. Now. Remember, the main class is now, the main selector is now, and then I'm now targeting the menu. and then inside that menu is li. So I'm going to say that I'm going to give it a list style so that it may not have some bold some bullets. So I'm going to say a list style. I'm going to give it none. And by the way, this property, let me get a copy. Let me just cut this style, and then let me paste it here on my global style in here, so that it may affect any other style, any other item that we'll be using. So this style I'm going to give it none. And so now here I'm going to give it display to be what, to be block, inline block, inline block. Sorry, display is inline block, so that it may be arranged in a horizontal manner. Let me save, and then I'll open the browser and see some changes. And I guess you can see it's perfect, very very perfect. But now guys, I want to make them appear on the same line here. So guys, what I'm going to do now, to my text editor, let me choose this property, use this styling. So the main selector is now, and then I'll tag it in the max width. Remember this is a sub main class. So let me just copy it. Let me copy it so that everybody may understand where these stuffs are coming from. And then I'll do it here. Let me just paste it there. Then I'll open and close the curly bracket, and then I'll display. I'm going to give it to flex. I'm going to give it flex, and then align items. I'm going to align them where centered. And then the other property that I'm going to give it here is the justify content. I'm going to give it a space between, so that it may be separated from the logo, the icons and everything. And then the other property that I'm going to give it is the flex wrap. Remember, the flex wrap property, it occurs in such a way that when you resize your window or your page, so the items will be arranged in a block format, so that it may not shrink to each other. So this is the flex wrap. I'm going to give it wrap, so in such a way that when you shrink it, it will make items arranged in a block format. And so let me save, and then I see some changes in the browser, and guys, you can see it is very very perfect. So now let's target these icons here. So now let's go to our text editor guys, and then now here now let's see the icon here is the social icon, the class for these icons, social icons. So now what I do guys, let me do this. Let me write here now the main selector, but now targeting the social icons. So let me just copy the class name. Remember, if you write a different select and a different class name, it will not be affected on the browser. And so now, but now targeting the those icons. So what I do, so let me first of all let me give it this property. Let me give it a margin right. I'm going to give it on the left hand side. I give it I give it 25 pixel. So this one, let me also give it 25 pixel, and then some padding. Let me give it sorry. Or what I do, let me just leave it the way it is, but now let me resize it. So font size, I'm going to give it let me try 12 pixel and see how it will be. So let me save, and then I see on the browser, wow, 12 pixels, very very small. It should be something like a 20, not 12. So let me give it 20 pixels, so pixel. And then I save and see some changes there. And then guys, I think this is perfect. This is perfect to me. And then let me add some text shadows and the blurriness in this logo here. So what I'm going to do is let me do this inside the logo, where the class for logo here. I'm going to add a text shadow. So text shadow, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it perhaps, let me try which color will match with purple. Let me try a green or a yellow. So let me say yellow. We should just change if it will not be perfect, but now let me give it 3 pixel, the distance, and then the size 3 pixel, and also the blurriness. Let me add the blurriness 3 pixel again, and then let me save and see some changes in the browser. Guys, I think this is not good. Let me make black, and then here let me give it 2, and then let me save and see some changes. I think guys, let me try 3, adding to 3 the distance. So let me save and see some changes. I think guys, this is perfect for me. So what I'm going to do guys now is to add a hover effect. The hover effect on this menu navigation, this navigation menu here, and also to this logo here and these icons. So what I'm going to do is let me now do this. Let me copy this part for first of all, let me begin with this logo. So let me copy, and then I paste it at the bottom here, or what I do, let me just paste it near it so that it may be easy to find it. So let me just paste it there, but now targeting when you hover on it. So when you hover, oh sorry guys, this is not when you hover. It should be hover. So when you hover guys, let's change the background. So background, I'm going to give it let's try let me give it which background will match guys. Well, let me give it blue. Let me give it any color like blue, I don't know. Let me give it blue and then first of all, and then I also add some transition. So here first of all, let's make a transition. So transition, I'm going to give it all 0.3 seconds is I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a color I'm going to give it I'm going to give it red. So first of all, let me save and see some changes. So guys, you can see when you have on it, it becomes a bit large here. And so let's also add the transition to these other stuffs. So what I'm going to do, and by the way guys, I add here the transition of all 0.3 second is. So guys, now let's style these other sections too. So now let's go to our text editor guys, and then I'm targeting this part, the li part. So let me just copy, and then I paste it down here. So let me just paste, but not targeting when you hover. So when you hover guys, I'm going to I'm going to enlarge it. For example, let me say the first property, I'm going to give it color. First of all, the color, I'm going to give it purple. Let me give it purple, and then I'm going to increase what? I'm going to increase the font size. So font size, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it let me give it even 25 pixels, and also I'm going to add the background, or let it just remain the way it is. So let me save By the way guys, let me add a transition here. So transition is gonna be a transition. I'm going to give it all. I like using this kind of transition. All 0.3 seconds is and then let me save, and then I go to your text editor, to your browser guys, and then when you have, guys can see it changes to another display. Very very beautiful, very awesome. So now let's try also these icons here. So now let's go to our text editor, and then targeting targeting the social icons, these icons. So what I'm going to do, let me just also copy this, select a copy, and then I paste down here, and then I'll targeting when you do it on your hover. So let me say hover. So the first thing, I'm going to give it a color. Color is gonna be what? Color, I'm going to give it a blue, and then I'm going to increase the size. So the initial size was 25, 20 pixels. So I'm going to give it 25 pixels. So font size, I'm going to give it what? Let me give it 25 pixels. So let me save first of all and see some changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see when I hover, but also let's add some transition. You can see it's not a professional way. Let's add some transitions here. Transition of all. First of all, transition. You begin with the property, the property, and then I'm going to give it all 0.3 seconds is. But now let's increase the size here to even or let it remain 25 pixels, and then let's save. And then to your browser guys, you can see when you have it has some smooth transition, it's somehow perfect. And so guys, let's also add some stylings here. So the next thing that I'm going to add here some styling that will affect the other in other section that we'll be using. This section for max width, let me just copy it, and then I'll do it. Let me just paste it here. So I want to affect, because we'll be using it repeatedly, so let me add some styling for it, so that we may not repeating ourselves. So first of all, let me give it a max width of what? Max width, I'm going to give it 13,000 pixels, and then also I'm going to add some padding. Padding I'm going to give it 0, that is left and right, but 80 pixel, and that is left and right. This is top and bottom, and then this one is left and right. And then a margin I'm going to give it what? Auto or auto, I don't know. So so this is the main this is the styling that we are going to use for the entire project. So now guys, I want to add also another section here to add a background image and also some text. So what I'm going to do guys, let me do this. Let me go to my CSS. First of all, let's go to the HTML part, and then at the end of this now let's create also a comment. You remember how to add a comment? To make a comment, just control the /, and then let me say home section, the home section or a head section. So what I'm going to do guys, here I'm going to add here a section. So let me say section dot home. Let me give it home, the class as home, and then open and close, actually make some space there. And then now guys, the other property that I'm going to use it is this one. I'm going to give it this property here, this class, this class max width. So let me do this. Let me add dot max width. What I do, let me just because I always doubt myself, I can write some other things. So if you write a different thing, it will not have the effect on your page. And then here I want to add some text, so let me use text one. And guys, I told you that the shortcut to duplicate this part is just click on the Shift, Alt, and then down key. So I'm going to make it text 2, and then this one is text 3, and then in this text one I'm going to say what, let me say I want stop site for all. So in the second item here I'm going to say for all and then guys, I want to use here an icon, some icon here, icons. We are going to browse up once again, and then I just open another tab here, and then I type HTML symbols, entities, and codes. And then in this first link, just click on it, and then you can search. You can just type here and search, but for me, let me just scroll so that I may find it. So this is the icon for typing, writing here, this one. Let me just copy the HTML code here, and then do what, go to your text editor, guys, and then here just paste it there. And then in this third line I'm going to say what, gossips. And then let me say first of all and see some changes in the browser. Guys, now you cannot see it because the background is white, so I want to add some banner image here. And so guys, once you are done here, let's go to our CSS, and then let's create first of all a comment. Remember how to create a comment is just what, control plus the forward slash, and then here let me say home styling, and then here I'm going to say what, first of all I'm going to begin in the main class. The main class is home, remember, yeah, it's home, yeah. So just write what, just write dot home, not really, just write home, write home, just click Ctrl plus C to copy, and then do what, let's go to this section, and then I'm going to write what, section. First of all, let me just write section, let me say section dot home, section now dot what, dot home, section dot home, and then let me open and close the curly bracket, and then display I'm going to give it a flex, actual flex, and then I'm going to give it another property, background. I'm going to use a linear gradient. I want to add a gradient here, so let me say linear gradient. Then I'm going to give it two color codes here, so I'm going to use R. You can use anything like hexadecimal value or whichever you want, but for me I'm using the RGBA, and then open and close the bracket, and then I'm going to give it black. So black is 0. First let me use 1. Remember 1 is also black, and then 0. Actually 1 again, 1, 1, and then opacity of 0.7. So let me make it a 2 color code. So let me just copy this section, and then I do what, paste it here. First of all, add a comma, and then I do what, paste it there, and then at the end of this bracket I'm going to you write a comma first of all, then I'm going to use the URL, and then in this URL you are going to specify first of all the folder for your images. I want to add a background image, so I'm going to say, so the folder for images is assets, and then a forward slash now to specify the image. So I'm going to choose banner, and then here I'm going to say no repeat property value, and then also make it, you know, the sender, a sender. And then guys, the other property that I want us to use here is the, you know, first of all, the height, I'm going to give it 100 viewport height, VH. And then also the other property that I'm going to give it here is the, you know, color, the text color. I'm going to give it what? White. And then also the other property that I'm going to use here is the mean height. Mean height, I'm going to give it 500, you know, pixel. And then you know, the font family, guys, let me use robot, or let me use Popin. Let me use a Popin. Copy. Let me just copy, and then I do it. Let me sorry. Now let me just paste it there. Let me paste it there, and then the other property that I'm going to give it here, the last one is the image. Actually, but you know, I'm going to give it you know, background, you know, size, background size. So background size, I'm going to give it a cover, and then I do what? Save. So once you have saved, go to your browser, and then guys, you can see is, you know, very, you know, beautiful. So what I'm going to do, guys, now let's type this text. And so guys, now we are targeting the text. So let me copy the text, you know, class. So we are going to begin with the text one. So let me just copy, and then do it to my CSS. Guys, I'm going to add here. Remember, you begin with a dot, and then I open and close the curly brackets, and then I do it. First of all, guys, now so that I may not, you know, bring issues, let me begin with the, you know, let me begin with the dot home. Remember, when I just write text, it might affect the other text that I will be using in other section. So it's always choice to use, you know, the main class, then plus, you know, these other sections. And so I'm going to say what? Dot home, and then now max width, dot max width, but now targeting what? Text one, dot text one, and then open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to give it you know, font size. I'm going to give it even let me give it 27 pixel, and then let me just guys duplicate this section, and then yeah, let me duplicate, yeah, make it even 3 items. But now here, let me change it to text what? Text 2, and then this one is text, you know, text 3, and then in this text 2, let me give it let me give it 30 pixel, and then this one, let me give it even 45 you know, pixel, and then let me do it. Sorry guys, this should be, you know, just single pixel. Then let me save, and then I'll go to my browser, and guys, you can see, you know, it's, you know, pleasing. But now let's change the text align. So let me say text align, I'm going to give it, you know, sender. Also this other section too, let me say text align sender, and then this other one for text align, I'm going to give it sender, and then I do it save, and then let's see some changes. But now guys, I want to increase this as more, you know, very big, to be very big. So like let me say this one, instead of 27, let me give it this one, you know, let me give it even now 40, and then this one I'm going to give it even 50, and then this one I'm going to give it you know, let me give it even 70 pixel, and then let me save and see some changes. And so guys, you can see it's somehow, you know, pleasing. And so guys, let's change the the color for this section. Let me make even purple. Let me make even purple, this color, or red. Let me make it purple. So color, this text 3. So let me say color. I'm going to give it what? Let me give it purple. Purple. And then let me save and see some some changes. But the color is not pleasing. And so guys, let me give it this color. So color, let me give it what? Color, let me give it yellow. I think a yellow will match. Okay, so this gossip is not good. It's not good at all. Let me change it to another item. Like let me say, let me give it this text 3. This text 3. Let me go to it, and then first of all, I'm going to first of all to my HTML, and then let me give it a one-stop site for all trending news, for all trending news. And then do what? But now the color is not perfect. Let me change it to let me give it a gray. A gray will be darker. What I'm going to do now is to select a lighter color here, but not, so let it be the way it is. And then let me save, and then let me go to my browser, and then guys, you can see it's a bit pleasing. So let me give it another color. Let me say or what I do guys, let me add some text shadow on it. So let me do this. Let me say text shadow. So text shadow, I'm going to give it first of all, it should be white, and then I'm going to give it a 3 pixel, 3 pixel, 4 pixel. But now this one, let me make it a bit darker. So let me save, and then let me go to my browser and see some changes. And then guys, you can see it's somehow perfect. And so guys, the way you can see it, it's somehow perfect, but the background, I think it's not matching with the the content in the forefront. So I need to change this background banner. So let me go to my text editor, and then now to this CSS, and then to the background here. Let me remove and change it to another image. So like let me say, let me choose this one, GIF, and then let me save, and then now to my browser. Guys, you can see this one is perfect. This is perfect for me. It matches with the content. And so guys, now before we go to another section, let me add a button here for explore now. So let me also add another button here. So let me go to my HTML, to my text editor guys, and then to the HTML, and then I'm going to create here a class, first of all, .btn, the short form of a button, and then I'm going to add here an anchor tag, and then I click enter. Then here I'm going to give it a hash, and then here in this text I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a color. First of all, I'm going to, let me say, explore now, and then I want to add here an arrow that points forward, so that it may have it may be perfect. So let me open another tab here, and then let me go to the HTML symbols, entities, and code, this page, and then click on it, and then I'm going to use this first link here. So I'm going to click on it, and then I guess I'm going to the arrow sections here. I'm going to the arrow section, and then I'm going to use this one, this arrow. You can think of any, but I want to use this one. I want to use this one. So let me copy the HTML. Ensure that you copy the HTML part here. So let me just copy the HTML code, and then now you can close this tab, and then I'll go to your text editor, and then here just paste it there. That's the HTML code, and then let's save, And then let's go to the text editor, and then now guys, you can see it, it is here, but now we need to style it so that it will be perfect. You can see the color is not pleasing. So let me go to my text editor, guys, and then so guys, now in this CSS we are going to do what? We are going to target now this button, this class. So let me go here, and then let me just copy this section, and then do what? Copy, and then paste it here, paste it there, and then now I'm going to say what? I'm going to say now I'm targeting the btn.bt, and then open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to say text align. Text align is gonna be where sender, and then what else? I'm going to give it a background color, a background of let me add a background of blue. Let me give it to blue, and then what else? I'm going to let me add a padding of what? A padding of 10. Let me give it 10 pixels. So first of all, let me save and see some changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see it's somehow perfect. But now I want us to do what? I want us to to add some border radius here, and also change the text size, text color, and text size. So before that, let me add a property here, border radius. So border radius, I'm going to give it, let me try 20 pixel, and then let me do it. Let me save. Let me save first of all and see some changes. So guys, you can see 20 pixels somehow pleasing. Now we want to target this text part to change the color and everything. So now let me do this. Now let me copy this part, let me copy this section, just copy, and then just paste it in this other line, but now targeting the anchor tag. So I'm going to change the text color. Actually I'm going to give, no, it's not text color, just say color, then I'm going to give it white, and then which property should I use? Let me say font size. Font size, I'm going to give it let me give it 18 pixels. Let me try 18 pixels, and then let me save and see some changes in the browser. You can see guys, it's somehow perfect. But now let me add let me increase the size further, perhaps 25, and then also add some margin here, margin top. So let me do this. Let me give it 25 pixel, and then in this other part let me give it what? Let me give it let's say it's margin top. I want to create some spaces there. Margin top, I'm going to give it, let me give it 20 pixel. We shall just change if it will not be perfect. Yeah, I think that this is perfect. This is good. So now guys, I think that this section is now not really completed. Let me add some hover effects on it. So let me do this. Let me go to my text editor, and then now let me target now when you hover. So let me do this. Let me copy this section. Let me copy it, and then I paste it there, and let me paste it there, and then now targeting when you hover. So just say hover, and then I open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to give it background. I'm going to give it a background. I'm going to give it none. Background, I'm going to give it none, but I want to add a border radius, so a border. So let me add a border of let me say let me say sorry, let me say 2 pixel or 1 pixel solid, and which color, let me say red, and then what is so now let me also copy this section. Let me just copy and then paste it there, or this section, let it remain the way it is. Yeah, let it remain the way it is. First of all, let me save and see some changes in the browser. By the way, let me add some transition effect. So let me add a transition. I'm going to give it all 0.3 a second is, and then let me save and see some changes in the browser when I have it. So guys, you can see it's somehow pleasing, perfect. And so guys, I think that this section is now complete. Let's create another section here, another section on the bottom. So now let's go to our text editor, guys, and then now to our HTML here. Let me create a comment here, and then let me say latest. Let me create a comment. To create a comment is just forward slash, and then what, a forward slash, and then you say what, let me say latest updates, or let me say latest updates. Let me say trending. Let me say trending news. Let me say or let me just say latest updates. This is just a comment. Latest updates, and then I want to also create another section here. And so in this section I want to use a flex box here. So now what I'm going to do now, begin with what? Begin with with a home, with a section, actual section. Begin with a section dot what? Dot thing dot let me say updates dot updates, and then just click enter, and then now create also another section here, and then I'm going to use max width, and then you do what, click enter. So in this max width, the first property that I'm going to give it here is now the what, let me give it, let me say let me say politics. Let me say politics. Now let me first of all create a h2, and then let me say politics, and then now here in this other section, let me create a what? Let me create a card. So let me say dot card. So let me say dot card, and then let me say dot card. Then I click enter, and then inside this card I'm going to create an image. So img, and then for politics here I'm going to give it a hash, and then you can remove this alternative text here. And then here in this other section I'm going to say what, I'm going to create a text here. Let me create a text here now. Let me say first of all, let me say text, and I'm going to give it let me say politics today. Let me say politics today, and then here in this other section I want to create some paragraph here. So let me say use a p tag, and then I'm going to say what, I'm going to say let me say lorem 20 to generate 20 words, and then let me create another line here. In this other line, guys, I'm going to add a button. So let me say that btn btn, and then in this btn I'm going to say read more, and then I guess I'm going to use this arrow. So let me just copy this arrow and then do it, just paste it there, and then what you do, first of all, let's see if it's appearing in the browser. And so guys, you can see we have this section here, but now we haven't included the image. Remember, we have not included the image here. And so let's go to our text editor, guys, and then here in this where is our image? So here is I should create an image here. So let me say specify the folder for images. So it is assets / and then I'm going to choose what, let me look for politics. So let me try this one, and then I do what, let me save and see some changes in the browser. And so guys, now before I do anything, let me first of all duplicate this part. Let me duplicate this part from card this section. Let me duplicate this part. Just shift alt and then down key. Let me make at least 4 slides, and then here I'm going to do what, I'm going to change it to what, let me say let me give it any name, like let me choose another picture, let me choose another photo here, and then perhaps let me choose terrorism here, and then let me change the text. Let me say terrorist attack. Let me say terrorist attacks, and then here I'm going to change it and then give it something else, like let me give it any for education. Let me give it for education, and then do what, this other section, let me give it also for no, this one is not, let me change the text. Let me say education sector education sector, and then this other, let me give it even let me give it military. Let me choose this military, and then let me say defense. Let me say defense strategy. Defense strategy, and then guys, let me do it. Let me save, and then now let's go to our CSS and then style it further, guys. So now we are going to use the main class here is updates, and then max width, and then we are going to the card. So what I'm going to do, guys, now let me go to my CSS and then let me copy this section. By the way, let me say here, let me add a comment, and then in this comment let me say let me say updates styling on HTML. Did I give it a comment? Yeah. So now here I'm going to paste it there, but now I'm going to change it to what? I'm going to change it to about. Remember, the main class now is about. So let me say dot about. Actually it should be update. Let me do this. Let me just copy the class name. It is update. So dot, let me copy this part. So the class is dot updates, and then max width, but now targeting what? The card. card. Is it card? Yeah, so it should begin with a dot card, and then open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to say what, let me give it first of all let me add a background. So background I'm going to give it a black color. So let me give it this color, black color here, and then what else, I'm going to give it a border radius. I'm going to give it a 6 pixel. What else? Let me add a padding of a 25 pixel, that is top and bottom, then 35 pixel, that is left and right. And then also I'm going to create also another to align, say let me say text align. Text align is gonna be where sender. Yeah, sender. And then which else? Let me say first of all let me save and see. And so guys, you can see, but now the image is still big. We are going to style it, guys, so don't worry. We are going to style the images. So now let's go to our text editor, guys, and then now let me copy this part, but now targeting what? Targeting the IMG, the image. So let me just paste it there, but now targeting the IMG. Is it IMG? Yeah. So open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to give it a height of let me give it so height I'm going to give it, let me give it 200 pixel. I want to make it a square. And then also the width I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it also 200 pixel. I see that I want to make it a square. And then first of all let me save and see some changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see it's not perfect. And so guys, you can see these images, they are not perfect. I want to style it, guys. So first of all I'm going to change the, let me make it a landscape. So what I'm going to do, guys, let me do this. Let me say here, let me say the width to be even let me give it even 400. Let me give it even 400 pixel, and then let me save and see some changes. But now, guys, I want to change the property to be another property to make it object fit. So what I'm going to do, guys, let me say here let me say add a property here, object fit. Object fit, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it cover. Cover, yeah. And then let me give it a border. So a border, I'm going to give it, so border, I'm going to give it let me give it purple. The color should be let me give it 5 pixel, solid in purple. So this time I'm using purple. So let me save and see some changes. And so guys, you can see this is somehow pleasing. And so guys, there you can see this section we have this section is close to this the home page, the home section. So what I'm going to do, guys, let me add some margin here, margin both top and bottom of this section, between these two sections. So what I'm going to do, guys, let me go to my text editor, and then now here let me say dot updates the main class update. So what I do, let me copy this part. Let me just copy, and then I do it. Let me just paste it here, and then let's give it margin of what? Margin. I'm going to give it 100 pixel. that is top and bottom, and then a 0 left and right. And then let me save and see some changes. Now to our browser, guys, you can see you have some space, here between these two sections. So guys, what I'm going to do next now is to arrange these items, in a flex format. So what I'm going to do now, let me go to my text editor. Let me go to my text editor, guys, and then first of all, let me create a class here. So let me create a class here, and then let me say container, and then let's just cut this section. Let me just cut, and then the closing tag, and then I paste it here, just at the end of this part. So let me just paste it there, and then I'll do it. Let me save, and then guys, I want to copy this class. Let me copy this class, and then I want to style that flexbox. So let me go to my CSS, and then now here I'm going to write dot container, so it will affect other containers that we'll be using. And then now here I'm going to say what here, let me say let me say flex. First of all, flex display display should be flex, display flex, and display flex. And then first of all, let me see if it's affected in the browser. So by the way, guys, you can see the display is now in a flex format. A display is in a flex format, but now the width is very big. I'm going to resize it, guys. So what I'm going to do, let me do this. Let me resize these items. Before anything, guys, let me remove this part, this other section. So what I'm going to do, let me go to my text editor, and then to the HTML. What I'm going to do, guys, let me just remove this section, this part. Let me remove this section, and then do it. Let me save, so that we may have only 3 parts, 3 sections. And so guys, you can see it's good, but now the width of these images, I need to resize it further, guys. So what I'm going to do, let me go to let me change the sizing to my CSS now, and then here I'm going to give it let me give it 100, and then here let me give it 200, and then let me do it. Let me save first of all, then to my browser. You can see it is somehow pleasing. So I want to create some margin, some margins here, some space there, and then let me do this. Where should I add it here in this card part? So I'm going to add here margin. I'm going to say margin. I'm going to give it let me give it a 10 0, that is top and bottom, or what I do, let me say 10 pixels, just 10 pixels, so that it may affect both top and bottom, left and right. And then let me save, and then at my browser, let me see some changes, and I guess you can see it's not bad. And so now what I'm going to do, guys, now is to style this other section. But before anything, let me style this heading here. Let me go to my text editor, guys, and then here sorry, guys, to my text editor, and then here at the HTML, I want to remove this part for where is it, this politics part. Let me say trending. Let me say trending news. Let me say trending news today, and then let me save now. Let me go to my text editor, and then guys, here I'm going to copy this part. Let me just copy, and then I'm going to do it. I'm going to paste it here, and then I'll tag it in the H2. So what I'm going to do now to align the text, so text align to be centered, text align to be centered. And then what else should I do? Let me say increase the sizing. So font size, I'm going to give it even, let me try 25 pixels, and then let me save. And first of all, let's go to our browser and see some changes. You can see, guys, it's somehow, we need to save it, guys. So for example, let me even give it 40 sizing. Let me give it 40, and add also some margin. So let me give it 40 pixel. And then what else? I'm going to give it margin bottom. I'm going to give it let me give it 10 pixel, a 10 pixel. And then what I do, let me save. Before anything, let me add also a text shadow. So text shadow, I'm going to give it let me give it a red, or let me give it red. And then a 3 pixel, 3 pixels. I want to add some blurriness there. So let me go to my browser, and then I guess you can see it somehow. But now this red color is not good. What I do, let me use purple. Let me use purple. Let me change it to purple and save. And then I'll go to my browser, and then I'll see some changes. And guys, I think this is perfect. This is perfect. And then what else? I'm going to change the text color and everything. So you can see the background is black, and then the text is black also. So what I'm going to do now is to change the color here to my text editor, guys. And then where here I'm going to give it a color of what color I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it white. You can use a color value or color name. And then let me save. Then I go to my browser, and then you can see the colors are white. So guys, I want to style this section. These are part, the headings and everything here. So what I'm going to do now, let me style this text one. Let me go here. Let me go to my text editor, and then let me first of all identify. So this is text. So let me copy this class name. Let me just copy, and then to my CSS, I'm going to do it. I'm going to copy this section, just copy, and then I paste it down here, and then I'll tag it in this class text, and then I open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to give it text. So font size, I'm going to give it let me try this one large, and then and so guys, I want to change this text these are text what, and these are text the font for this text. So what I'm going to do guys, let me go to my text editor, and then here to my text editor, guys. Here to my text editor, guys, let me choose this one. So the second one is the p tag. Now targeting the p tag. So let me say what, let me copy, let me first of all duplicate this section. Let me just duplicate, shift alt, then down key, and then here I'm going to change it to what, the paragraph. Now targeting the p tag, and then text align to be centered, sure. And then I'm going to add this font family Oswald, and then do what, let me save, and then I'll go to my text editor, and then I think guys, this is perfect. But now this text, I want to get to to make it pleasing. So now I'm going to change this. It should not be they should not be the same as this one. So let me reduce the font size here. So font size here, I'm going to give it to my text editor, and then the font size I'm going to give it let me give it 14 pixel, and then here I'm going to give it let me give it even 30 pixel, and then do it. Let me save and see some changes, guys. So what I'm going to do, this now has become very small, so let me give it even something like 20. Let me give it 20, and then this heading, let me give it a color of red. So color I'm going to give it red. So let me save and see some changes. And so guys, I think this is pleasing. This is somehow pleasing. And then what I'm going to do, guys, now is to strike this part for button, this button section. So what I'm going to do, guys, let me go to my text editor, guys, and then here I'm going to save actually to my text editor, and then targeting the the anchor tag, the button, so btn, and then the anchor tag. So what I'm going to do, let me go to my text editor, and then guys, what I'm going to do now is to copy this section. Let me just copy this section. Let me just copy, and then I'm going to paste it down here. Let me just paste it here, and then now I'm going to change it to let me change it to this is updates, this updates, and then here also update. And so guys, what is let's add also the card. Before that, let me just add here a card. Actually, let me say, and then here I'm going to remove it to container. Also here I'm going to remove and change it to container container, and then here also card, and then what else, which property have I missed? Is everything okay? So just realize that there is a property that we've left out. There's a styling that we have left out. So let me copy this styling. I forgot to copy. So this part. So let me just copy it. Let me just copy this section, and then let me do this. Let me paste it here. And let me just paste it there. But now changing to this is updates, and then so first of all, let me save and see some changes in the browser, guys. And you can see it is somehow perfect. To change this color red, this is not pleasing. It's not pleasing on my eyes. So what I'm going to do, let me change it even to to another color. So what I do, let me just go to my text editor, and then do what, targeting the the text. I'm going to give it any other color. Text, actually the text. So text, I'm going to give it white. Where is the text part here? Where I had written right. So let me just give it white. Actually white. And then I want to copy I want to use a different font family. So let me just copy this part. These are font family, let me copy it, and then what I do, let me just paste it down here. Where are we? Let me give it this font family, and then let me save, and then I'll go to my browser. And guys, I think this part is complete. But guys, I see the simplest way. Guys, here is to, let me just do this. The simplest way than wasting a lot of our time. Let me give it. Let me just give it white. Let me give the color to be white. Let me give it the color to be white, and then here the text for P here, I'm going to give it a light gray. So text I'm going to give it, so I'm going to give it first of all color I'm going to give it a light gray. Let me give it a light gray, and then let me save and see some changes, guys. And guys, I think we shall go with this one. We shall just go with this one. This is perfect. And then now, guys, I want to add some other stuff down here to tell the time that this article is published, and then also add also some icons here. So what I'm going to do, let me go to my text editor, guys. Before anything, guys, I want to link the font awesome. We had already linked. So what I'm going to do, let me go to my text editor, and then now here to my text editor, guys, and then now to the HTML, and to the HTML. Now here I want to use some font awesome icons. So what I do, let me say let me create a div first of all. Let me say let me say date. Just give you any class, and then inside it I'm going to give it first of all an icon. And so, guys, inside this class I'm going to create first of all, let me use an anchor tag, the I tag for icons. And then I say that I know these icons, so let me say FA for I want to use for user, and then dot FA user, actually user, and then I just click in there, just duplicate it, and yeah, let me duplicate, and then here I'm going to change it to a calendar. I'm going to change it to calendar. Calendar is a calendar here, this way. And then here, just after this first icon, I'm going to create a span here, a span, and then inside this span I'm going to say let me say admin, and then after this second span icon, I'm going to create today's date. So the time that I'm going to upload this video to my YouTube, it is March 4th, 2022. And then what is, actually it should be in a span. Let me just let me cut this part. Let me just cut, and then I create a span for it, span, and then let me create it that way. And then what is, I'm going to create also a span here. So in this span I'm going to say let me say 10 comments, 10 comments. Let me say 10 comments, and then let me save and see some changes in the browser. So let me open the browser, and then now, guys, you can see you have these icons here, but now we want to style it further and make it more pleasing. So let us style it further. So let's go to our text editor, guys, and then now to our CSS. Now we are targeting this class date. So let me go to the CSS, and then at the bottom here now to the container, first of all, let me just copy this section. Let me just copy, and then I do paste it down here. But now targeting what the dots. Is it date? Let me copy the class name. The class is date. So let me say date. Date, and then let me open and close. So first of all, I'm going to add some padding. I'm going to give it 5 pixel, 5 pixel, 5 pixel, and then let me say align items to where. So text align, or align items. Let me use this property. Align items, sender. First of all, let me save and see some changes. And guys, let me make it 10 pixel the padding. The padding I'm going to make it give it 10 pixel. So let me give it 10 pixel, and then do it. Let me save, and then the color. So the color I'm going to give it color. So color. Let me give it black. Let me give it black. I shall just change if it will not be good. So let me save, and then I see some changes. And then guys, you can see it's somehow. But now I want to reduce the sizing so that it may be perfect. So what I do guys, let me reduce the font sizing. So in the text editor, so I'm going to first of all, let's now targeting the I tag. So let me just copy. Let me just copy, and then I'll do it. Just paste it here, and now targeting the I tag. So open and close the. Not really. Let me target in the span. So span, and then now I'm going to give it. Let me give it. In the span, let me reduce the font size. So font size. I'm going to give it. Let me give it 12 pixel. 12 pixel. Let me save and see some changes. 12 pixel, but now the colors. Let me give it. And then let me create some some padding, some margin. Let me create a margin. I'm going to give it. Let me give it padding. Actually, let me use padding property, and then I'm going to give it perhaps 10 pixel. Let me give it 10 pixel. I shall just change if it will not be good, and then let me save, and then open the browser, and then guys, it is very broad, big. Let me give it 5. Let me give it 5, and then I save, and then I open again, and then guys, this is perfect. So what I do, let me change the colors. So color, let me give it white. So now here the colors, let me give it, or let me give it light gray. So color here, let me give it light gray. Black is not good, so let me say light gray, and then let me save, and then guys, you can see this is somehow perfect. So now what I'm going to do now is to duplicate this section and then add to these other parts. So what I'm going to do, let me just do this to my text editor, guys. Let me just copy this part from the let me copy this part from this part. Let me just copy. Let me copy this section. I don't know. Let me just copy, and then here again I'm going to paste it there. Also here I'm going to paste it there, and then what I do, let me see. And so guys, the way you can see this is pleasing. This is very awesome to me. So what I'm going to do now guys, let me duplicate this section, and then do what, let me duplicate this part, and then I make it, you know, let me duplicate. First of all, let me go to my text editor, and then let me just copy this section, this part, for, you know, first of all, let me copy from this section from max width, and then do what, let me just you know, duplicate, shift out, and then arrow key, and then what I do, let me see. So guys, in this section, let me remove this part, and then I do it. Let me save and see some changes guys, and see some changes, and guys, you can see this is, you know, pleasing. But now let me change the images and everything. So let me go to my text editor guys, and then now I'm going to this section. First of all, beginning this part, let me give it anything, any image. Let me give it even nature, and then here I'm going to say let me say awesome places. Let me say awesome places, and then this is the other section. I'm going to give it let me give it let me give it even education 3, edu 3, and then let me say here let me say graduates, let me say 2022 graduation students, let me say 2022 students. You can give it anything. Remember, I'm just using for the sake of tutorial. You can save it and make it even more beautiful. So here I'm going to give it anything, like, let me say even, let me choose this politics 3, and then here let me say let me say trending here guys, let me say what let me say just politics, let me say politics, and then what else, I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. Let me say, and then see some changes in the browser again. And so guys, I think this section is now complete. Let's go and create another section for politics. So what I do, let me go to my text editor. Guys, and then to the HTML. First of all, I am going to create another section here. So let me say section politics. You can give it any class, section politics, and then inside it I'm going to, you know, create a max width, and then inside this max width I'm going to, you know, I'm going to create perhaps let me say title. So I'm going to use h2, but now let me say the class to be title, the class, let it be title, and then after the title, so this title, let me give it perhaps even let me say politics today. Let me say politics today, politics today. And then after this politics today, or let me say, let it remain it the way it is. And then after it, I'm going to create also another class for, for, let me say, first of all, let me say create a class for container. So let me say dot container, let me say dot container, and then inside this container, I'm going to say what? I'm going to, I'm going to say first of all, let me remove this h2. Let me remove this h2. First of all, let me just cut, and then I paste it just this section here. And then here I'm going to say what? Let me say dot container, and then inside this dot container, I'm going to create a column left. And so guys, in this section, I'm going to write a dot column left, column left. So this is the class dot column. This is column left, left. Then you click enter, and then or let me say dot column. Then let me say left. Let me use two classes here. So dot left. Then you click enter. And then inside it, I'm going to create I'm going to create an to add an image. So img, actually img, and then let me click enter. And then here inside it, I'm going to specify the folder for images. It is assets, then /, and then I'm going to choose this is politics. So let me just think of any, like politics 2, which I just change it will not be perfect. And then the alternative text you can remove, or you can have it. And remember, the alternative text is just there if for example you have lost some images on your device. So if you've misplaced the images, so when you have the alternative text, it will give the users a hint that this is the kind of image that was here. But for me, I don't need it now because I'm sure that I have these images. I'm just using for demo. And then again, let me say create another class here for column right. So let me say dot column right dot column dot column right dot column right right. Is that the spelling for right? Me, I don't know. Let it remain the way. So in this column right, guys, I'm going to use I'm going to use a text class. I'm going to give it text, and then inside this text, I'm going to say let me say national politics. Politics. Can give it any name. I'm just using for the sake of demo. And then inside it, I'm going to I'm going to say what? I'm going to say I'm going to use a p tag here, and then inside this p tag, I'm going to say lorem 60 to generate 60 words, or let me say lorem 200 to generate 300 words, 200 words. And then at the end of it, let me just copy this section. Let me copy this section from this part. Let me just copy this part. What I do, let me just move this section, this other, and then let me just copy this part to this button, and then let me just copy, and let me copy, and then I do it. Let me paste it here. So now so now what I'm going to do, first of all, let me save and see so on the browser. And so guys, you can see it is here, but now you want us to save it further, guys. So what I'm going to do, let me go to my text editor, and then now let's style it further. Let's begin with this text politics today. So now to the CSS, remember now the class is politics, and then the title, the subtitle, the the subclass is title. So let me first of all create a comment here, comment, and then let me say politics styling. Did I use a comment on the HTML? Let me just check. Let me create a comment. I forgot to add a comment here. Remember, comments are very useful. So let me say politics section, and then now let's continue with our CSS. And then inside our CSS, guys, the first item that are going to begin with is this. Let me say beginning with the dot politics, but now targeting the text. The other class was text. So let me say dot. Let me be sure. Let me just copy. Is it text or title? Let me copy. It is title. Let me just copy the class name. Remember, if you don't use the right class as the selector, it will not have any effect at all in the browser. And so now inside this inside it, I'm going to begin with, first of all, to align the text at the center. So text align, I'm going to say it's enter. And then the other property that I'm going to use is the font size. I'm going to give it a 14 pixel. And then which property should I use again here? So let me say text shadow. I want it to appear the same way it was like the other one for trending section. So text not text align. I'm going to say text shadow. Text shadow, I'm going to give it white. I'm going to give it white. Black. Let me give it black. 3 pixel. And also the color. I'm going to give it purple, so that it may be like the other one, purple. So what I do, let me save and see some changes in the browser. So let me see, and guys, you can see it is somehow beautiful. So now let's add some padding for it. So what I'm going to do now, let me add a padding for it. So let me add padding bottom, or let me use padding bottom, and then I'm going to give it 20 pixels. And then let me save and see some changes. And then guys, this one is not bad. Let it remain the way it is. And then also now let's style this other section. Let's begin with this image. So now let's go to our text editor, and then now we are targeting the img. It is in the column, and then we shall style what? Where is our image? It is here, guys. I see it is here, column left. So what I'm going to do, let me just go to my text editor, and then guys, let me first of all copy this part. Let me just type. Let me say politics and politics, and then targeting what? Dot max width. First of all, max width, and then now let me say right. Let me say dot right. First of all, let's begin in the left. So dot left, so dot left, and then inside it I'm going to say what. So for margin, let me give it this property. For margin, let me give it let me give it let me give it 20 pixel, or let me give it 10 pixel, as 10 pixel, 10 pixel, and then let me see some changes in the browser again. And so guys, you can see it has some padding, and then the image. And then now guys, what I'm going to do, let me just duplicate this section. Let me just duplicate it, shift alt and then down key, and then here now targeting the img. So let me say img, and then I'm going to give it a border radius. So border radius, I'm going to give it 10 pixel, and then margin and then the other property that I'm going to use here is the height. So height, let me give it auto, let it be auto, and then the width I'm going to give it also auto. And then let me save guys, and then see some changes in the browser. And guys, you can see it is somehow beautiful. But now this at the end, I see guys I used a lot of text. So what I'm going to do, let me give it even 60 text. So what I do, let me just go to my text editor, and then to my HTML, and then this part for the paragraph, let me do it. Let me give it let me delete this paragraph. And so guys, here I'm going to use let me create first of all the p tag, and then I'm going to use lorem 100, and then let me save and see some changes in the browser guys. And this one is not bad, but now I want us to style it further guys. So what I'm going to do, let's style it, this section. So to our text editor, now to our CSS. So let me copy this part, let me copy this section, and then do it. Let me just copy, and then paste it down here, and then do it. Let me say here right, let me say right, and then save, and let me open the browser. And guys, this is pleasing. Let's now style it further. Let's begin this this text. So now let me see, it was what the class name is text. So what I do, let me do it. Let me just copy this part, and then what, let me just copy, and then I paste it down here. But now targeting what, targeting text dot text then I open and close the curly brackets, and then I'm going to give it what, I'm going to give it let me give it font size. Actually font size, let me give it 30, let me give it 30 pixel, and then text align sender, and then what else, and then I'm going to use this font family for Poppins. I'm going to use Poppin as the font family. And let me copy this font family, copy that font family, and then paste it down here. Let me just paste it down here. So I'm going to use this font family, and then let me save and open the, first of all let me also add some padding. So padding, I'm going to give it let me give it 10 pixel, and then let me save and see some changes in the browser guys. and guys, you can see this one is perfect. This is good. And so guys, I want us to style this section for for this button. So what I'm going to do now, let's go to our text editor, and then guys, let's identify the button. So class is this one, btn, so column, then btn. So now let's go to our text editor, guys, and then let me do this. Let me copy this part, what I do, guys, let me just copy this section, this part, and then paste it down here, and let me just paste it there. But now target not dot btn, the button, and then in this button I'm going to give it let me give it, first of all, let me align it at the center. So text align at the center, and then I'm going to give it a background color of let me use blue, and then also I'm going to give it a padding of let me give it a padding of 10 pixel, then a border radius I'm going to give it 10 pixel, and then the color I'm going to give it white. Which property should I use here? And then what I do, let me also add a border. So border I'm going to use what? Border, let me use let me say 1 pixel, 1 pixel solid. Then I'm going to give it a blue, 1 pixel solid, then blue. And then what I do, let me first of all save and see some changes in the browser. And then guys, you can see this is not bad. So what I'm going to do now is to add border radius. Let me give it even 20. Here let me give it 20, or let me give it that 30 pixel. And then now guys, what I'm going to do now, let me just duplicate this, copy this part, and then I'll paste it here. And now targeting what? The anchor tag itself. So I'm going to give it a text what? I'm going to give it font size. I'm going to give it font size. Yeah, it should be font size. I'm going to give it let me give it a 20 pixel, and then what is 20 pixel, and then I'm going to give it what? Let me give it 20 pixels. First of all, let me save and see in the browser. I think this is good, but now let me do what? Let me increase the size here in this other section. Let me say font size here. Font size, I think this on the lower side is not bringing what I want, so let me use this section. So let me say font size. I'm going to give it let me give it 20 pixel in this section, and then I save. And then guys, this is perfect. And then let me add some margin here so that it may not be close to this other section. So let me go to my text editor, guys. First of all, I'm going to reduce the padding. I'm going to give it even just 5. Let me give it 5, about 6 pixel. And then let me add a margin. I'm going to give it 12 pixel. And then what else? So I think it is good. Let me see. And then open again. Yeah guys, I think this is perfect. And then let's add some hover effect on it. So what I'm going to do now here, let me add the hover effect. So hover, I'm going to give it when you hover, I'm going to give it a font size. The font size, let it remain the way. So background I'm going to give it none. Background is gonna be none. And then and then I'm going to give it what, let me say text. Now the color for the text, I'm going to give it what, I'm going to give it let me give it red. So and then first of all, there's ensure that there's some transitions here. Let me add a transition so that it may not be abruptly. So transition, I'm going to give it, I like using this kind of transition, all 0.3 a second is and then let me save and open the browser. And but guys, I don't like this styling. So what I'm going to do guys, let me change. I don't want even the border radius. So what I'm going to do guys, let me do this. Let me do what? Let me remove this property border radius. Where is it? Okay, so let me remove this property border radius, and then I'll do it and change even the color. Let me give the color to be even gray. Let me give it gray, and then let me save, and then see some changes in the browser guys. But now the color has not changed. I don't know. So the color, the background should be light. I should have changed the I should have changed the, or let me give it a gray, and also here I'm going to give it a gray, and then let me save and see some changes. And then guys, I think this is perfect, and this is good. And then when you hover guys, let me add some properties. So when you hover, I'm going to give it the color to be black, or let me give it this color code 111 black. And then also I'm going to add a border. So border I'm going to give it let me give it gray. Actually, let me give it 1 pixel gray, 1 pixel solid. Then I'm going to give it which color? Let me give it gray. Also guys, here let me also give it a gray for it to match well. So let me give it a gray, and then let me save, and then guys, let me see, black, it should be black. Let me give it black. So black, let me just go with black, and then let me save. And then when you have guys, you can see this is pleasing. And so now guys, I want us to target this part, this section here. So this part for icons. So what I'm going to do guys, let me do it. Let me just copy this part, and then let me copy, and then now targeting the span. So let me just paste, but now targeting at span, and then open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to give it padding. I'm going to give it padding of let me give it 5. 5 pixel. And then there's other property that we need to style it, guys, for p tag. Let me copy paste. First of all, let me just paste it there, and then here targeting that the p tag, and then open and close the curly bracket. Then I'm going to use this font family. I just use this font family, and then do it, paste it there. But now guys, I don't want to use, let me try to use the other one. It was Roboto. Let me try Roboto and see Roboto, and then let me save and see some changes, guys, in the browser. And then this is, and guys, let me remove the the padding on this button, so that it may be just from this section. So what I'm going to do now, guys, here, first of all, here text align items. So text let me say align items. I'm going to give it align items, so the sender. And then guys, here I'm going to remove this what let me remove the margins. Let me remove the margin here, this margin property. And then let me save. And then what else are we to change? So let me go to my browser, and then guys, wow, I should have let me add margin, but now top and bottom. So what I do, let me say margin, and then I'm going to give it let me say 12 pixel. That is top and bottom, but left and right, let me give it 0. And then let me save and see changes. And guys, this is perfect. This is just perfect. But I guess it sound the color is not perfect. Again, I just feel like the color is not perfect. Let me just give it so the color, let me just give it the background. Oh, of course, here it should be gray. And then here, guys, let me here give it the background to be blue. Let me just give it blue, and then do it. Let me save. Just Control plus S is to save, and then refresh. And then guys, this is at least let it remain the way it is. And then perhaps let me change the comments to be maybe, let me say 50. Let me say what comment. Let me go to my HTML, and then let me say even 50 comments. 50 comments, and then save. Comments. And then guys, this is perfect. So guys, I think that this section is now complete. Now let's create also for nature. So for nature, let me go to my text editor, guys, and then to the HTML. Let me just copy this section, and then I'm going to do it. I'm going to style it. So let me just copy this part to this section, and then let me just duplicate, shift alt and then down key. And then now guys, here I'm going to change it to let me say nature section. Here also I'm going to give it nature. I'm going to give it nature. And then what else should I change here? I don't see here. Let me say change here, and then I give it tours and travel. So let me say tours and travels. And so what I'm going to do now, let me also copy the styling. So first of all, let me create a comment here, and let me say what in this comment, let me say tours and travels. travels styling. It was in travel styling, and then what I do, let me now copy this styling. Let me copy this styling. Let me just copy the styling here, and then what I'm going to do now is to paste it here, and then I'm going to change this part for politics to be before that I forgot to add it should be nature, or let me change to nature. Let me just change it to nature. Let me say nature. Let me say nature, and then do what here also nature. Here nature, and then here let me give it here also nature, and then also here nature. Here also I'm going to give it nature. Also here I'm going to give it nature. And then wow, there are many. Let me give it again nature. Also here let me give it what? Let me give it nature. Let me give it nature, and then do what? Let me also there's this section also. Let me give it also nature. Let me give it nature, and then what I do, let me just save, and then I open the browser, and guys, you can see you have it is perfect. But now guys, there's something that I need to style here is this section, and also this section. So what I'm going to do is both these all these two sections. So what I'm going to do is now for nature I'm going to do it. First of all, it should be in the first styling here. So I'm going to say nature, and open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to give it margin. Let's add some margin here. Margin, I'm going to give it 100 pixel, that is top and bottom, and then a 0 I'm going to give it left and right. So, and then also in this other section I'm going to say what? I'm going to say this is politics, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to first of all open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say I'm going to say what, guys? What I'm going to say? And so guys, here I'm going to say what? I'm going to say margin, and I'm going to give it again 100 pixel, and then I'm going to give it 0 pixel, that is left and right, and then let me save, and then let me go to my browser, and guys, you can see it is pleasing, very very pleasing here. This is perfect. But now these items, these are, I think for it to be perfect, it should be in this other section, it should be in this end. For me, I just guess it that way. So what I'm going to do is let me just align them, not at the center, but let me remove this property. So where the p tag, the text. So I'm going to remove this property. So text align, let me say left. So text align left, and also again to this other section. So I'm going to say text align be left. And then save, and then now I think that there should be some underline. let me add some underline at the end of each element, each item. So like in my HTML, I'm going to my HTML. So in each section, let me use an underline. So this is the latest update. So here, let me use the HR again. Which section? Also this politics section, let me use the HR horizontal line, and also the nature section, let me use the HR, and where else, then here also HR, and then let me save first of all, and then I'll see some changes. This is perfect, this is awesome, this is good, very very good. So now so I think this section, guys, is complete. And now let's go to the about section. Created a comment here, and then let me say about us. So about, and then I guess what I'm going to do, let me copy this section, this nature section, and then copy, and then I do paste it here. And then guys, I'm going to change some things here, like nature. I'm going to give it to about us, about, and then what else? I'm going to change also to here. Let me say get to know us more, or let me just say get to know us. And then again, I'm going to copy the same styling here. Let me copy the same styling, and then where is it? Tours and travel. So let me just copy this part, and then I duplicate. And then here I'm going to change it to about styling. So let me say about styling, and then here I'm going to change also to about also here about. I don't want to repeat myself a lot, guys. This is just a demo, but you are going to style it your own website in a very very perfect way. But for me, I'm just giving you a preview and a draft. So let me just say about. Let me hope that the class is about, and so here also let me give it about. Let me give it about. Here also about, and then here also let me give it about, and then also here let me give it about. Again here I'm going to give it, let me give it about, also here about, and then this last one again I'm going to give it about. The other thing that I need to change here is this part, this section. Let me say here, let me say the CEO. Let me say what. And so guys, in this section, text section, let me say the CEO, and the founder. Let me say and the founder, the CEO and the founder, and then here let me try to change even some the date. Let me give it let me do it let me remove this section. Let me remove this part for date. Let me remove this section, it's not needed here, and then let me save, and then perhaps let me try to change the image. Let me use any image, like, you know, let me say what let me use an image. Let me use this image this time around, like let me use image 1. Let me use that image, and then let me save, and then go to my text editor, and then guys let me do this. Let me resize the image. So let me resize the image to be perhaps, so let me resize the image. So let me go to my text editor, and then guys to this section, to the CSS, I'm going to add this. I'm going to style it, guys. So I'm going to use this property. So first of all, let me copy let me copy what let me copy left. This is the left. Let me copy the left section. Let me copy this part, this image, and then I'm going to give it what, let me just copy, and then I'm going to do what, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Perhaps let me say now targeting the img, right, img, and then I open and close the curly bracket 50. Let me say to 50 to 50 to 50 to 50 by 250 by 250, and then let me save, and then guys, I think is this good? Me, I don't know. So let it remain the way it is, guys. We don't need to stay it you know, further. So let it remain the way it is. And so guys, let it remain the way it is, and then now guys, I want us to create the contact section. So for contact section, guys, let's go to our text editor, and then now to our HTML first of all, and then again here, guys, I'm going to use what, let me use this styling. Let me say what, let me say what, let me say let me create a comment first of all, and then I'm going to say what, contact section, contact section, and then in this contact section, guys, I'm going to use what, I'm going to use first of all, let me create a dot section actually it should be section dot what, dot contact, and then you know, click enter, and then guys, here you are going to write a form, then I click enter, and then guys, in this section just put a hash. Remember, we haven't covered PHP yet. When we cover PHP, we shall tackle, you know, the backend. So now let me do what, let me create also the first thing that I'm going to include here is input. Let me use an input, and then I'm going to say what, I'm going to say the input type is text, and then you know, the placeholder I'm going to give it what, the placeholder I'm going to give it name, and then let me make it required. So let me say required. Here let me say first name. Let me say first name, and then what I do, let me just duplicate this section, Shift Alt then down key, and then here let me say last name, last name, and then also here let me say a last name. Then let me create also for email. Let me duplicate it, and then I want to make it for email. So here I'm going to change it and make it email. Input type is gonna be email here, and then enter your email here. Let me say enter your email, enter your email, and then the last item that we are going to use here is the text area. So let me say text area, and then so in this text area, guys, let me remove this name and the ID. Remove the name and ID, and then now here in this text area, I want to add also a placeholder here. And so let me say placeholder. First of all, placeholder, and then I'm going to say what? Let me say enter your comment, and also what I do, guys, here let me also add the submit button. So let me say dot let me say input. So let me create also, let me use a button. So let me say button, and then type I'm going to say what? Type I'm going to give it submit, and then in this text I'm going to say what? Submit, or let me say send message. So guys, what I do, is it the correct spelling for message? For me, I don't know. Is it message? I guess that's the correct spelling. And so guys, before we refresh, I forgot to add these items in a div. So like let me say create a div here. So let me create a div. Guys, and then let me create a div, and then let me cut this section, and then I paste at the end here, just at the end here, and then what again here let me just create a div, and then delete this section, and then I paste it at the end here, the closing tag, also this section, a div, and then close this at the end, delete this at the end, and then I paste the closing tag here at the end, and then these are at the end for text area. So let me see div, and then I enter. Then what I do, let me just remove this section, and then I paste it where? Let me paste it at the end here. Let me paste it here, and then also let me just paste it again here, and then let's add the start tag here at the end. So let me say dot div, and then I remove this section. So guys, now let's save, and then let's see in our browser, and then guys, you can see it is here. So now we want to style it further, and then guys. So let's go to our CSS and style it, guys. So let's go to our CSS, and so the first property that first of all, let's create a comment, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say conduct section, conduct section, and then so the first class, guys, is what? The first class is conduct. So let me say what? dot what dot conduct conduct, and then open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to say what I'm going to give it a what. Let me give it first of all a width of what. Let me copy this property somewhere. Margin. Guys, what I'm going to do, let me just copy this section. Let me copy, and then do what? Paste it down here. Let me paste it down here, and then let me paste it here. Max width, and then so guys, what I'm going to do now is, let me remove this, this part, and then now guys, what I do, let's now target these other items. So like not really, I should remove this part from actually because we haven't included it yet. So let me save, and then background, I'm going to give it what? Background, I'm going to give it a light gray. Light what? Light gray, and then let me save first of all, and then see in the browser. Guys, you can see as we go on, it's going to be perfect. So now let's style these sections to here. Our HTML, guys, now let me also create a hash here, or let me use form here. Let me just use form. So let me say conduct.form. Copy. Sorry. Yeah. So guys, let me do this. Let me just copy this section. Let me just copy, and then I'll paste it down here. Paste it here, and then I'm going to say what? Let me say conduct, but now targeting the form. Let me say form. Form, and then here I'm going to say what? Let me give it which color. So let me give it white. Let me say white. Color, background, let me say background color, I'm going to give it what? Let me give it even this one, and it's white, and then let me save, and then see some changes. Yeah, this is perfect, and then let's add some padding for it, and then let me create a padding. So padding, I'm going to give it a 20 pixel, both top and bottom, left and right, and then which property should I use again here? So let me say section dot what? Dot conduct. I'm going to give it a margin. So margin I'm going to give it perhaps, and let me give it a 100 pixel, and then a 0 pixel. Then let me save. And so guys, now in this CSS, let's begin now with the let me copy this section first of all. Let me just copy, and then just paste it here, and then here let me target now the form, and then what else? These are input. These are input. So let me just type here in input. Then open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say height. I'm going to give it 100%. 100 percent, and then the width also I'm going to give it 100%, and then what else? Let's style also. Let's make a border for it. So border, I'm going to just change the border. So border, I'm going to give it solid. Actually, let me say beginning there 1 pixel, 1 pixel solid. So it's solid. I'm kind of confused to get solid, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say the color to be gray. Let me use gray, or let me use gray. Let me use gray, and then which properties should I use again? Let me use border radius. Let me add this property, border radius. Let me give it even 6 pixel, and then outline property, I'm going to give it what? None. Outline, I'm going to give it none. And then what is let me give it padding of let me give it a padding of let me give it a padding of 0. First of all, 0, that is top and bottom. Then let me make 15 pixels, that is left and right. Yeah, and then what is let me say, let me add the font size. Increase the font size a bit, like 18. Let me make it 18 pixels. And then the font family, let it remain the way it is. First of all, let me save and see some changes. And then guys, you can see it is somehow good, but now you can see it is close to each other. So what I'm going to do, let me also add margin for it, margin for each item here. And so margin, remember, is the space outside an element. So let me add a margin of, so margin, I'm going to give it margin top, margin bottom, I'm going to give it perhaps 10 pixels. And then let me save. And then guys, you can see it is somehow good, that's somehow perfect. But now the sizing, let me increase at least the size here. Let me reduce this, let me make even 20%. Let me make even 20% this section, the width. Let me give it 40. Let me give it even 40%. And then what else? There's something that I realized. Let me add the padding here. Padding also to be padding top and bottom. Let me give it even 5 pixels. 5 pixels. And then save. And then I'll see some changes guys in the browser. Yeah, I think this is perfect. And then for comment, for text area guys, now for text area, let me do this. Let me do what? Let me just copy this section, duplicate this part, duplicate, shift alt and then down key, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to change it. Let me first of all change text area. Let me just copy this section. It is text area. Let me copy this part, and then let me give it what? Change it to text area. Let me give it text area. And then what I'm going to say guys, let me give it let me give it another property here, resize. Resize, you can see guys, when you resize, you can rewrite this part. You can, it's just awkward. What I do, let me remove this resize thing. So resize, I'm going to give it none. Resize, I'm going to give it none. And then what I do, let me save and see some changes. And guys, you can see this perfect. So now the other thing that I want to include here is this button here, this button. So what I'm going to do guys, let me do what? Let me do this. Let me do what? Let me just copy this section again, duplicate, and then now here is gonna be what? Button. This is button. I'm going to change it to button. button, and then I'm going to do what? I'm going to remove first of all this property, there's no need here. And then what else? I'm going to add a background. So background I'm going to give it let me give it blue, and then color let me give it white. And then when you have let me just copy this part, and then let me say copy first of all, and then say when you have when you have on it, then open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to say background I'm going to give it none, and then the text I'm going to give it white. So text I'm going to give not really text, it should be color. Sorry guys, color I'm going to give it none. Color I'm going to give it not none, I'm going to give it black. And then guys, let me save, and then let me see in the browser. Guys, you can see it's somehow pleasing, but now let's add some transition so that it may not just close that instantly. It's not pleasing. So what I do, let me add a transition here. Add transition property, transition. A transition I'm going to give it all 0.3 seconds is 0.3 seconds is, and then let me do it. Let me save. Then guys, I test when you have on it, it's not just that instant. So now guys, I want us to create also another section again for footer, the last section for footer. And so now to our HTML, at the end of this section here guys, I'm going to create this section, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say first of all create this comment, and then let me say what? Let me say let me say footer. Let me give it this name. Let me say footer, and then let me say footer again. Footer, then click enter. Now in this footer I'm going to use a span. So span, and then I'm going to say what in this span. First of all, let me say designed. Designed by. Then I'm going to use an anchor tag and design. Let me give it a hash. Then here let me say a name tag. Designed by name tag. Designed by name tag, and then here I'm going to create also another span here. So span, and then inside this span I'm going to say 2022 20. First of all, let me create some space there. Let me create some space here, and then let me say 2022 22, and then let me add the copyright message here. So what I'm going to do, let me say let me create an I class. So I dot fa dot comma, then copyright yeah. Then I click enter, and so again here let's create a span again. Span, and then I'm going to give it let me say 2022. Let me say all rights I don't know the spelling guys. All right reserved. all rights reserved. And then let me save and see some changes in the browser. And guys, you can see it is available here at the bottom here. So now guys, I want to style it further so that it may be, you know, perfect. So what I'm going to do guys, let me do this. Let me go to my CSS, and then let me create a comment for footer. So let me say footer. Create a comment for footer. Then let me say footer. Let me say footer, and then inside this footer I'm going to say now footer the main class itself. So footer, and then I'm going to open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to say you know, margin, actually padding I'm going to give it perhaps, let me say 40 pixel. We can just change it if it will not be good. 40 pixel. Text align to be center, and then what else? Font size. So font size, let me give it even 20. I will change if it will not you know, be good. And then let me save, and then let me go to my browser, and then guys, you can see it is, you know, perfect. And now let's give it a background color. So background color guys, I'm going to give it a light gray. So background color, so background I'm going to give it even light gray. Let me give it gray. Let me say gray. Gray. And then let me save, and I'll see some changes. But now the text, it should be the text now should be white. What do you think guys? But now let it remain the way it is. But now for this name tag, I'm going to do it. I'm going to change the color. So now targeting the anchor tag. So let me say footer, copy footer, and then paste it down here. Now targeting the anchor tag, and then open and close the curly bracket, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to give it a color up to red. Let me give it red. Then font size, let me give it even 25 pixel. Then let me save and see some changes. And guys, it is, you know, just awkward. Let me use purple. The color is not perfect. Let me use purple, and then I save. And guys, this is at least thing is not perfect for me. It's not pleasing. So let me remove this emoji here, and let me go to my text editor, and now to HTML. Then at the top here, guys, I'm going to remove that thing, this emoji. Let me remove this and then let me save, and then I'll go to my text editor. Guys, I think this is perfect. And so guys, now I want us to, you know, create, you know, some smooth let me make these icons, you know, this navigation items to be functional, this navigation links to be functional. So now let's go to our text editor guys, and then now here to our HTML guys, I want to put some IDs somewhere. So let me go, first of all, let me begin from the bottom. Let me add some ID. So in the about, let me also add an ID here. So let me say ID, and then I'm going to give it about. So the ID here is about, and then here for nature, let me say ID to be nature, and then where else, and then here politics, then I'm going to add an ID to be ID. I'm going to give it politics, And then let me see what else. Politics now, trending. Let me go to the trending politics, and then to this section for trending updates. And then here let me say trending ID. First of all, the ID, then I'm going to say what trending. And then also I forgot to add for the conduct. So for conduct, guys, I'm going to use an ID here, which is ID. So first of all, ID, then I'm going to use that conduct. And then now let's go to our navigation items here, to the LI. So just after this hash, you're going to write this is home. So I forgot to add also for home here. Let me add an ID for home. So ID, I'm going to give it at home. And so guys, now in these items, after this hash, then I'm going to say at home. Here I'm going to say at trending, and then trending, and then here I'm going to say politics, and then here I'm going to say what nature. I don't know if I had add this ID there. And then this one is about, and then this one is conduct. And then first of all, now let me go to my CSS. Then guys, here where let me add here HTML, and then open and close the curly bracket. Then I'm going to use this property scroll behavior, and then I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it smooth. And then what I do, let me save. Then let's go to our text editor, to our browser, guys, sorry. And then let's see some changes. And so guys, now let's try and see. So now when I click on home, it's going to take me to the home. Trending, going to take me to the trending section. Politics section, it's going to take me to the nature section. This nature section, actually nature section, I forgot to change some names and images, and also the about section, and then the conduct section. And so guys, this website is not that perfect, but I think guys, it gives you some skills, or some it gives you a draft on how you can design your professional website. And so guys, I really appreciate you for your time. And guys, if you find that the video has been of help to you, please support me by subscribing and also like the video. You can also share it to someone. I really appreciate very much. Guys, I've not tackled the media query section for smaller devices. Guys, I recommend you to go to my previous videos. For example, the video for what? For e-commerce website, and also the first video on the project. Guys, you're going to get some skills on how to design for the media query, for smaller devices. But for the sake of time, guys, and I feel like I'm tired, let me just end the video here, guys, and see you in the next project. Goodbye.